But Tim still heard her. "That's okay. We don't have to talk. We'll eat the pancakes and look at the cats." Pip sighed. It seemed unlikely that she was going to just quietly and painlessly die as she hoped, which meant that she would have to get up at some point. A fresh surge of horror went through her at the thought. But then again, she did like pancakes, and they really were much better hot. She raised her head and sighed. "Okay, pancakes, no talking." He smiled his lovely smile and withdrew. Most followed him out. Pip gave a last groan into the pillow and swung her legs to the floor. She would have to face the world sometime. Might as well be for pancakes. Tim gave no indication of finding the enforced silence awkward. He hummed as he put the pile of banana pancakes on the kitchen table, together with the butter, jam and syrup. He seemed perfectly content as he placed their coffee cups down in front of their places. He muttered a few niceties to Most and to Smoky Robinson, the grey kitten they had kept from Most's litter. Then he sipped his coffee and chewed his pancakes contentedly without a word. It drove Pip nuts. "Well, aren't you going to say something?" she snapped grumpily. "More coffee?" he said pleasantly. "No, thanks." They retreated into silence. Tim looked dreamily out of the window. Pip followed his gaze. Nothing to see, just clouds and treetops. "Go on, spit it out," she said. Whatever it is you want to say it." "Oh, I thought you wanted no talking." "Well, you seemed to want to say something." Which wasn't true. He was calm and peaceful. She was the one jiggling her knee and stressing. "Okay, well, just to say, I'm sorry about last night. I know it's very upsetting for you, and for what it's worth, I think you were very unlucky being fired. It was just a horrible accident. As you always say, it could have happened to anyone. It wasn't your fault." "Whose fault was it then, Tim? The fabric manufacturers of the 1970s? "That's exactly who. Those dangerous lunatics with their highly flammable materials. It's a wonder anyone lived through the 1970s without being burnt to a crisp." "Especially with all the smoking they did back then," said Pip, warming to the banter in spite of herself. "Not to mention those giant flaming joints. And dancing round those bonfires and campfires, like at Woodstock." "You are right. I'm not at fault. It was the decade. In the immortal words of the Jacksons, blame it on the boogie," she said, doing a very poor imitation of that popping thing MJ used to do with his head. She took her last sip of coffee, put down the mug and said, "Thanks for the pancakes. I'm going back to bed." She was still there 3 hours later, trawling through Twitter, trying to avoid news articles about the fire at the museum. A spectacular picture of the faux Robert Plant's blazing locks was doing the rounds. When Tim was back, rat-a-tat on her bedroom door. "I'm popping out. Want anything from the shops?" he asked casually. "A small bottle of arsenic and a large bottle of vodka?" It was a joke, but she didn't pull it off. "Hey, Pip. Nothing I need." She cut him short. "Okay. See you later." A while later she heard his key in the lock as he returned, and felt the little tinge of pleasure she'd come to feel when he arrived home. Then she remembered that her life was shite, and she was stupid and useless and jobless, and the momentary pleasure disappeared. There was some muffled sound from the kitchen, the familiar clatter of the cat's bowls, the opening and closing of the fridge, and then again his rat-a-tat.